Hello all, making a video here of a few things I don't like about my 2017 GTI. Sorry about the mess, it's rained a couple nights ago, so it's a little dirty. But here's my 2017 MK7, pretty much stock. The only power mods is the Cant air filter and exterior mods. I've got spacers all around to flush up the wheels, rear wing extension, and some LED headlights and some tint. But other than that, it's pretty much stock. Most or all of the things I don't like about this car are for the interior. So it looks like, let's just start off with the doors. So the doors are not that great of quality. If you go to pull the handle in, you'll notice it creaks a lot. So every time you pull your door in, you gotta listen to that noise, which isn't great. Another thing on the door card is the window unit. You can see how loose that is in there. So yeah, whenever you're working the window controls, the thing will be moving around, which is kind of annoying. So that's number one on my list. Keep the door open here. Number two would be the shift lever slop. Stock, the lever slop when you're engaged in a gear is very bad. So mine has been altered, so stock would be worse, but see how much it shakes here in first gear. Third gear is a little better. Sixth gear is probably the best. But stock would be 2 to 3 times worse than that. What I did was install a super pin from Diesel Geek, which goes down here at the base of the shifter assembly, replaces a plastic pin with the machined aluminum pin, which stiffens up the whole entire shift gear assembly by a lot. So you eliminate most of that slop, and it's probably been one of the best things I've done for this car. It's a very labor intensive process because you have to disassemble the whole entire center console to get down in there. But look up some videos, and if you're handy, you'll definitely be able to tackle this job, and I would highly recommend it. Let's move on to another clutch issue, is the clutch pedal. I always had a feeling that something was wrong with the clutch pedal, and I just couldn't pinpoint it, and I just kind of brushed it off and blamed it on my driving habits. But I recently found out that just before I made this video, I was actually on YouTube looking at some other videos, and I really found out that the clutch pedal on the GTI is assisted with a spring, and I never knew that. There is a helper spring to lessen the recoil on the return. So if you dump the clutch before, it would return back slower than it should, which caused a lot of issues and would make slow speed maneuvering very difficult, like in a parking lot. If you're cruising in neutral at 10 miles an hour, and you try and get back into first or second gear, getting the clutch, releasing the clutch in a way that it will get back into gear while not jerking the car and being smooth was very difficult and almost impossible to do. And also slow speed maneuvering was very hard. Stop and go traffic would be a nightmare. But the worst thing of all was when you want to do some hard pulls. If you're trying to roll the gears as fast as possible and dump the clutch between gears, you would destroy the clutch. That's because the clutch wasn't returning back as fast as it should. It was, it's hanging because the spring was holding it back, trying to slow it down, which means that you're full throttle and you expect the clutch to be engaged, but it's not. It's still trying to engage while you're mashing it, and you end up burning the clutch, which I've done several times, and I just thought the clutch was weak on these or something was off, and I just realized or found out that this guy was the issue. So you pull that out from the clutch pedal and all the issues I just mentioned disappear. It's kind of a whole new car to drive, and I'm still getting used to it because I just did it maybe like 4 hours ago. Yeah, I would definitely highly recommend that, but that's one thing I don't like about this car, stock. And then moving on to the controls here. A few pet peeves. One is the volume knob. See how it rotates when you're changing volume instead of the center staying stationary and the outer dial rotating around it. That's if you're OCD, you know what I'm talking about there. Another thing is kind of weird is the HVAC controls here. So you see how they have these dots between each setting. So I always figured that if you're on the dot, the fan would be 50-50 up at the windshield and then towards your face here, but it's actually choosing one or the other. I don't know how it decides which one it is, but it's actually either full on this way or full on this way. There is no halfway, which was kind of disappointing to me because I've always had it on this position. I thought it was blowing up at the windshield and at my face at the same time, but it wasn't. It was just choosing one or the other. I would have liked to see just, you'd have this position and then directly to this position and then directly to this position with no detents in between. And like if you're all the way this way and you're all the way this way, there's no difference in how hard it's blowing or which direction it's blowing. It's always just whatever the symbol shows. It's kind of strange. That's the other thing there. And I think that's all I have. Oh no, one more thing. This guy here, this menace. The traction control in this car is almost impossible to turn off. Even with using the OBD 11 tool, changing the tune, or not changing the tune, but changing going into the OBD 11 app and setting this to be off completely, it's still on about 30%. There's no way to really shut it off. Right now I have it on a couple of modes, which is if I press it once, it will take traction control off, or so it says, ESC Sport Driving Limited. But the traction control is about 40 to 50% on at this point. If you hold the button down, you'll get this stability control ESC deactivated. Now this isn't stock, this is modified, but this is supposed to be a full off traction control setting. When in this mode, it's about 25-30% still engaged. So anytime the car senses wheel slip, you'll have the traction control will cut in and try to adjust, which is kind of annoying. There's no way to really fully turn that off. I guess safety issue, but at the same time, let us do what we want to do. And I've heard some other people complain about the screen on the GTIs, but I personally find that it's not bad. I've definitely seen worse, and the resolution is fine. It's great. If I have Apple CarPlay on here, and I can watch YouTube videos or graphic heavy apps like Google Maps look great on here, so I don't have an issue with that. Just the things I mentioned. Like I said, I don't have anything else to say on the outside. Some people don't like these wheels. I personally love these Austin wheels. The tips on here, I don't know if the previous owner painted them matte black and they're fading or what, but like when I wash the car, the inside is chrome, but then the outside is still black. Not sure if that's just how it came from factory, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you want to hit me up in the comments, let me know if you want me to say something else about the car. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up. I'll try and help you out any way I can. If you like this video, then buy the car. But no, really, GTI is probably the best car I've ever owned. Just perfect all-around daily driver and a car to have fun in. Very little downsides, very customizable. So yeah, that's all I got for you. Take it easy.